I'm doing here. Last one
Oh,
was the first one. that
now
we
it
did.
is.
We had like 60 people.
Thank you.
And
All right.
then what my goal
You ready, Marquita?
is
Okay. All right. I'm calling this meeting to order. The notice of this meeting was posted on June 10th, 2022. Now, roll call, please, Tyler.
This is the Planning Commission meeting for June 16th. And the members of the Planning Commission or Mrs. Jennifer Craig and Mr. Charles DeFuria,
Here.
Mr. Rob Talbot here, and Mr. Joe Blau. And Mr. Joe Blau is in for the commissioners. We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. So we got a letter that for item 5 and 6 that they want to defer that.
Absolutely, that's correct.
Okay.
Those was a request to defer those items until, I guess, the July 21st meeting.
Okay. So are they here to make a request in person? Okay.
If you would like.
Okay. Do we need to do that, Tyler?
No. You
Okay.
don't.
do the minutes first of the previous meeting.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's go back to the minutes. I think we need a correction to the minutes
Okay.
because I'm pretty sure that I had asked if there were anybody that wanted to speak against a certain proposal. So I'm
Mhm.
looking at here. Let's go to the minutes here.
Which item?
All right. Okay, it would be, okay, it was the Skillern Properties LLC. Mr. Jason Skillern and Mrs. Skillerns were present to speak. But it doesn't say that I had asked for anybody that wanted to speak against the proposal. I'm pretty sure I did that.
Okay. You want the minutes to reflect that then?
Correct.
Okay, we can do that.
All right. I mean, you have a recording of that, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So with that correction, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes with the correction I just stated.
I make a motion to approve the minutes with the correction as stated.
Need a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call, Tyler.
Mrs. Craig,
Yes.
Mr. DeFuria,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
and Mr. Blau.
Okay. Okay. So items 5 and 6 are deferred until July 21st meeting. So we'll go on to
Did we vote on it?
take a vote.
Yes.
Okay. Can we vote on both 5 and 6 together? Okay. All right. So I need a motion to defer items 5 and 6 until the July 21st meeting. Okay. Right. Right. Put that in the minutes based on the applicant's request.
Before we make that motion, Tyler, are we comfortable with their request?
They met the deadline, written notice, yes.
Just to provide a little bit more information, there was some issue in regards to the engineering drainage calculations. And so we actually met with them yesterday. We worked out the issues, so they just need to correct that information and resubmit it. So it gives them time to do that, but also gives us time to review the new submittal. There's a representative here if you have any questions for them.
If we're comfortable with that, I make a motion to accept the applicant's
Request.
request to defer to next month.
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call, Tyler.
Mrs. Craig,
Yes.
Mr. DeFuria,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
and Mr. Blau.
Okay. Item number 7 is a discussion and possible action to approve or deny a zoning change from R2 Rural Residential District to R1 Acreage Residential District Z 2022-03. Okay, can we get a staff report, Tyler?
Yeah, basically, the property was zoned R2. And it wanted to be rezoned to R2. It was acreage, one acre lots, and they wanted to redraw the lot sizes to R2. And it's just a request to change that,
Okay,
increase the size of the lots.
any questions for Tyler?
The applicant also has the dimensions of the lots, if you'd like to review those, possibility, what the lot sizes are. If anybody's got any questions about it?
Anybody want to look at the lot sizes?
You, okay. That's between them, yeah.
Okay, so are you done, Tyler? or-
I'm done, yes.
Okay, any questions for Tyler? All right, thanks, Tyler.
Yeah.
Oh, you got one?
Tyler, other than the one a mile over there, MacArthur, is there any other proposals or subdivisions of the density that they're seeking that are in the near area?
Well, all of those areas there are, this is an increase in, decrease, I'm sorry. They're not,
They're wanting 1 acre
all
lots?
the others are R2.
Right, so the property is currently zoned R2, which gives you the ability to go to a minimum of 2 acre as far as lot size. They're requesting to go to R1, which gives you the ability to go down to a minimum of 1 acre. That's what they're requesting. So the areas there on the map that are in the gray are neighborhoods that are currently zoned R1. There's additional ones as you go back to the east. There's really none as you go south towards 164th, but that's what's out there in the general area currently.
Other questions? Okay, is the applicant here to speak in favor of the proposal? Come forward, state your name.
I'm Michael Shoemaker, Citadel Development.
Okay. So, tell us why you want this changed.
Okay. Forgive me, I'm not much of a public speaker, so I did bring, I had the civil engineer break down the lot sizes with regards to our plat layout, if anybody wants to see there, so if I need to set it up anywhere. And if anyone would like a copy of the breakdown, then I have that available. Yes. So, with regards to this parcel, there is a blue line, which is governed by the Corps of Engineer that runs through the middle of it. You can see on the plat where there's a substantial portion of the property that is unusable. Our intent was never to go in and stack a bunch of 1 acre lots within the parcel. The intent was to be able to utilize the parcel to get anywhere between 1 and 2.5 acre lots.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt, but you mentioned a blue line going through the, what is that?
Well, a blue, I'm a contractor.
Okay.
My partner speaks better to stuff like this.
Okay.
But a blue line is basically it's a stream that cannot be interrupted or has an easement, whether it's a 500-year floodplain or a 100-year floodplain, but it cannot be disturbed.
Okay.
And so we have to stay outside a certain easement of that blue line.
Okay, all right.
And that takes up a portion of the property. And it kind of runs through the middle of it, as you can see. So that minimizes the amount of property that we can use. And like I stated before, it was never our intent to go in there and do a 7,500 square foot lot tract home type of development. Our vision is more of a development that looks something like Bellagio, which is a nice neighborhood not too far from this parcel. But in the event that we ran into a portion of the property that cut us up and was not forced us to be something smaller than 2 acre, we didn't want to lose that use of that land.
Looking at what we're looking at here in what you were calling the blue line, is that a
Yeah.
path that's going through here?
It's a stream. It's a drainage stream that's governed by the Army.
That's a walking path that we're looking at here. If I turn this around, sorry. This circle that walks and then goes around the detention pond, that's a walking path.
No, sir, that's a stream. That's a drainage. That's a,
It's a concrete, like it's concrete.
no. It's a stream. When water flows through the property, it goes through there, and that's governed by the Army Corps of Engineers. There's, there's
I
certain
don't think
portions.
we're talking the same thing. Tyler, this is what I'm talking about. See this here?
The
How it,
actual black line.
that,
Yeah, no, that's, forgive me for not having the right terminology. It's a gully or a, that is a stream, and that will feed into that detention pond. It's also fed over here that's not concrete. This is a very preliminary plat. I'm not showing any of the amenities or any concrete or anything within that area. So that detention pond, it comes from actually, it comes from this direction, and it feeds in, and we're showing the detention pond being part of that. And- Okay. My civil engineer would be able to speak better to that, but he couldn't be here today. So yeah, if it flows that direction, our detention pond would feed into that. We do have, in the event that we're able to move forward, we do have the intent to make walkable paths and amenities and things of that nature around that area, but I can't construct anything permanent in that area at all. The price of the property currently right now is not priced for something agricultural, although it is being utilized as agricultural right now. Most of the property that you're going to find out in this portion of northwest Oklahoma City or county is priced for development. You're not going to find a farmer that's going to go out there and pay that amount of money to farm that land. Which is why that's just the circumstance that we're in. That blue line affects, like I said, that blue line affects the usable acres. There are certain easements and pipelines that run in and around the property. One of them falls within that blue line area. It's exposed in certain areas along the, forgive me again for using the word gully, but it's exposed there. It's owned by Sunoco, and it has been abandoned. And we have talked to them about cutting and capping that line and abandoning that easement because they have no intent of using it. And the only other major line that runs near the property runs along the south side runs along the south side here, and it is a wastewater disposal well line that's owned by Reliable Resources, which is that small boxed out portion of land up there on the north side of the property, just on the other, in that other portion of the quarter section. So those are the easements and pipelines that we've had to deal with there. There is a Deer Creek Water Corporation line that is an 8-inch line that runs, it's over on County Line, and it runs north down County Line, way past Sorghum Mill, almost up into the Cashin area. And there is a 12-inch line that runs up Council. And most of the east-west line, east-west roads, Sorghum, not, with the exception of Sorghum Mill, Coffee Creek, Covell, and even Waterloo, have that line looped. For some reason, it's not looped on Sorghum Mill, but it would. I have paid the Deer Creek Water Corporation to do a study to see if it would be feasible for me to pay for them to extend that line from county line to council to be able to service the area, which would additionally also help the church, which is the St. Damien of Malachi Catholic Church, which sits across from that property to the north. And I've spoken with them, and they're in favor because they have had water issues themselves. I know there's been protest with regards to rezoning to 1 acre. And the reasons stated were due to the 2007 future land use master plan and 2013 plan. That's 15 years old. And I just feel the way that development, I think we all know that the way that development is moving in northwestern Oklahoma City and county is sooner or later that this is going to become a residential area of sorts, I think of great magnitude. I'm a commercial contractor myself. I do quite a bit of restaurant work and car dealership work and things in the Oklahoma City area, and I'm aware of the fact that there's going to be a very large Walmart store placed over in the Paycom area. There's a Sprouts going in along Highway 74. There's the Homeland going in next to Rose Creek. So the demand for water from the Deer Creek Water Corporation is going to increase, and Oklahoma City Water.
So how many houses do you intend on building?
Per this plat, there will be 70 lots.
So there'll be 70 lots on 140 acres.
147, yes, sir. I'm trying to acquire this little piece that's boxed out right here. Was owned by DCP. They've abandoned that and they sold it to a group that I'm unfamiliar with, but it's not in use. So I'm not exactly sure what their intent is with that piece. I'd like to try to get it at some point, but I have yet to be able to get anybody to call me back on that deal. So that's the information I've got.
Okay, all right. Do we have, now what was your name again, sir?
It's Michael Shoemaker.
Okay, do we have questions for Mr. Shoemaker?
If anyone else would like, you said you would like to see the breakdown of the lots? Well, and I think that's everybody's main concern is water, and we have no intent going out there and trying to drill wells. I've been in contact with, I sent out a letter proactively to the, when I filed for the rezoning application and generated the list of people to notify, I took a copy of that list and several weeks back sent out an introduction letter letting people in the area know who I was and who my partner was. He's the one that should be here speaking. Unfortunately, he's had a massive appendectomy this morning and he couldn't be here. So, but no, if we can't get Deer Creek water, there really should be no reason that we couldn't get Deer Creek water. There's that 8-inch line and that 12-inch line are there. And if they will, if Myers Engineering comes back and says, yeah, sure, you can run a line, you're just going to have to pay for it, I can make that work at being rezoned to 1 acre. When you take a look at this list, sir, you'll see that less than 50% of the lots in this neighborhood are going to be, they'll be under 1.5 acres. The remaining portion of the lots will be 1.5 acres to 2.5 acres. So yeah, we've drilled test wells before, and I know that the water is an issue out there. I have no intent of affecting any residents in the area that are worried about their well water. If Deer Creek water is not going to be an option, then that's going to be very difficult. Whether it's 1 acre lots or 2 acre lots, that's going to be very difficult. So.
Any questions from the commissioners? Any other questions? All right, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Now,
I
is
have a
it,
question for
okay,
Eric before we go
okay,
to that.
all right, go ahead.
Hey, Eric, I'm just curious, if they have 147 acres and they're only gonna build 70 homes, why would we have to rezone it to 1 acre if it falls under the 2 acre?
Well, it's the lot sizes themselves. If you have one lot that is under 2 acres and it's part of this subdivision, you have to rezone it to R1. If all the lots are going to be 2 acres or larger, then you're right, you do not have to.
Okay, so it's not a cumulative thing where we look at how many acres and how many lots and say it falls within 2 acres.
Right, we take that information as far as the development to provide information to you guys and the public, but in regard to the zoning district and how it's worded, there can be no lot that exists in that subdivision that's under 2 acres.
Yeah, if I didn't have to,
Opportunity to either approve the preliminary plat based on the lot size as well as the final plat, correct?
Right,
If you found it today, then later on, a proposal would be made that would actually set the lot sizes in step, correct, and the number of lots.
right, that's right. I guess, just kind of based on what Mr. Shoemaker has stated, I guess my concern would be the Deer Creek water. That seems to be a big question mark. So it seems like you would want to have that question answered.
That, my question to you actually was different than his. And it's along those lines. Given that you've said you've reached out to Deer Creek Water and you yourself have said that this development is contingent upon getting the water from Deer Creek.
I
You said
believe
you
so,
had no
yes.
intention of drilling wells. Is that, did I?
100%, sir, yes.
Then what
Now,
ability?
if it were to only remain at 2 acres, then I believe my only option at that, if Deer Creek Water were to come back and say they can't service, and I can't get it rezoned to R1, then I'm forced to do R2, and I just don't know that I'm comfortable drilling. I mean, that would probably reduce the amount of lots to 45 or 50, and I just don't know that, I don't know that the amount of water out in that area would support that many lots.
So what ability, can we defer this awaiting his answer from Deer Creek Water? One of my concerns is we rezone this today, Deer Creek Water says, no, well, they're no longer, the project's no longer feasible. It's changed to R1, someone else comes in, and we've spent a lot of time working on a new master plan, and this is R2, and I don't want to give away the ability to still kind of protect what it is we intended to do in terms of the rural nature of that area. So if you would be willing to bring us a definitive answer so that we can consider it, I'm much more comfortable if Deer Creek Water says, yes, in doing
that's-
70 lots and knowing that that's all it's going to be.
I think for the surrounding community, I think for everybody in the room, and if Deer Creek Water says that they can service it, and everyone knows that I'm not going to be affecting their water supply, a deferment as opposed to a no is, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so do you want to do that right now?
If that makes y'all happy, and if everybody else,
But can we request the deferment? He does, okay. Right, right.
Okay. All right, okay, thank you.
thank you.
All right, yeah, is there anyone here who wants to speak against the proposal? Come forward, please. And then state your name and address, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Jason Perez. My address is 1513 Northwest 15th Street, Oklahoma City 73106. And I am the superintendent for Deer Creek Public Schools. So I represent the community where Citadel Development is proposing a change of zoning. And it's my understanding that the plan for this particular area is to develop housing that is not in alignment with the Northwest Oklahoma County Master Land Use Plan as acreage for residential use of 2 acres or more per home. I know that there are more intelligent people who could speak to the need to follow this plan in order to maintain the fragile infrastructure that exists in the community, but I want to speak on the impact that this would have to our school district. Deer Creek Public Schools is growing at a rate of 300 to 500 students per year. So to put that in perspective, we're talking about enough students to justify building a new elementary school each year. As of this date, we've already enrolled 600 new students for the 22-23 school year. We're only midway through June. Recently, Deer Creek passed a bond issue, which will increase the district's capacity to accept more students without overcrowding our classrooms. This was a $131 million bond issue and the last one of its size that we could pass for at least 10 years. If this rezoning is allowed with the intent to build denser housing within our community, it could significantly impact our ability to serve the students of Deer Creek and set a precedent for other developers who don't really have a concern about the ability for our community to support the level of rapid growth that we're facing. We rely a lot on the master land use plan, and the developers that we meet with regularly are willing to adhere to that, and that's kind of we hang our hat on that in order to be able to have incremental growth rather than massive growth all at one time. So while I'd love the opportunity to serve more students in Deer Creek, growth needs to be incrementally planned in order for it to be successful. By maintaining the current land use plan that several developers have agreed to adhere by, we can continue the significant growth in Deer Creek at a pace that we can actually sustain. So as part of my job, I take great pride in representing the needs of my school and the community that it serves. Allowing the rezoning of this land so Citadel Development can alter the land use plan in our county will lead to a significant burden to Deer Creek Public Schools and the Deer Creek community at large. And these aren't burdens that the developers have to bear because it's not their community. I understand the desire to maximize profits, but it shouldn't be at the detriment of Deer Creek patrons and children. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Perez. Any other questions for Mr. Perez? Questions? No? Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else present who wants to speak against the proposal? Come forward, please. All right, and state your name and address, sir.
Gary Atchley. I live at 8475 Northwest 220th, and Mr. Ward is also with me. We're directly south of the property. I have the 80 acres directly south of the proposed subdivision. And as Mr. Perez says, you know, when we came here a year ago, we talked about 2-acre lots when the current owner had, and y'all had agreed for them to go on preliminary and do some work on it. And he had also talked about doing the water wells, which, as you said, that's not a good option. And all of us know that live in that area. But, you know, we know development's going to be here. I think Mr. Perez is the best person to represent the school district, but the size of the lots are a concern. I know there's going to be developments, so that's not an issue to most of the neighbors out there. I'm not saying that, but being sure it's more of a rural situation, and we already have an overcrowding situation in our school system anyway. So that needs to be taken into consideration as y'all look forward, I think, to the plan. And I think that what you mentioned about finding out where Deer Creek Water stands for this gentleman and him being able to purchase the property is a good plan to go, because us that live out there understand how difficult it is to get water meters. And so in a way, I agree with the developments that are going to be taking place, but I appreciate you guys taking a good concern and looked at the size of the lots and the future growth there. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ashley. Is there anyone else who wants to speak against the proposal? Come forward, please. Okay, so now, Mr. Shoemaker, if you come forward. Now, so you could, it's your option to request a deferral if you want to do that, or if you want us to you know, move on this. It's up to you. So what do you want to do?
This is my first go around, so I'm just hesitant. I think it would probably be in my best interest to request a deferral. I understand Mr. Perez's concerns. I commend him for having the best school district in the state. He's going to have to deal with growth, sir. If I had children, they would be in the Deer Creek School District. This is an area that I think most people want to be in. There's going to be a need for them to grow, and I think controlled growth is healthy for the community, but I understand where he's coming from. It's got to be controlled. So I think at this point in time, if we can get a deferral and see if the Deer Creek Water Authority is willing to work with us, then, and it's going to be something that's able to be utilized on this piece of property, then I think we should wait on their study to be completed.
All right, so you're requesting a deferral, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Shoemaker.
Thank you.
Now, pardon?
Do you have an idea of when Deer Creek Water will definitively?
I made the request 2.5 weeks ago, and it's going through Myers Engineering, so that could, I don't know. I would assume I would have.
As I recall, it takes a while. Violation surveys, people who come up, who want to general public would like to speak about this, so those kind of questions. Other concerns, because we don't resend those.
The current owner of the property is not a patient man. So if we can, I would request a deferral for a month because I know that he's ready to move. And I don't want him to potentially jerk the deal. So I've got a pretty good relationship with the Deer Creek Water Corporation. I can call and request that they try to expedite it.
Okay, Tyler, could you kind of reiterate what our policy is on these deferrals? In other words, there's a certain limit to the amount of deferrals they could request. Is that right? I mean, I know we have a written policy somewhere.
We have it here, though.
Just so, Mr. Shoemaker, so you know that we have a policy, and it's not like you can just month after month request another deferral and another deferral. You know, after a while, it's like, okay, no more deferrals. So if we can find that.
It's in our folder.
Okay.
It's
It's in the
under
folder.
Planning Commission statutes. It's the first, it should be the first thing on the right-hand side.
Okay, you want to read that to us,
It
Robert?
says deferrals may be requested in single or multiple periods, 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, etc. But the length of time granted is subject to the Planning Commission's discretion. Deferrals may not be requested for a period of time extending beyond 1 year or singly or cumulatively, whatever that word is, unless the Planning Commission determines the applicant, the board, and the general public would be best served by granting the deferral.
So, Mr. Shoemaker, do you want to defer to like,
What's the date of next month?
July 21st.
Can we defer to July 21st?
okay.
I can get
And
the.
if you can't get the Deer Creek Water to give you a
I can
definitive answer by then, I mean, you know,
I can get it by then.
So the statute is a resolution that the options are 2 months, 4 months, 6 months.
Could be.
Yeah,
We could do, examples. And it could be longer than a year if we deem necessary that it would benefit everybody if we wanted to, but he's asking for a month, so.
And then the last one says multiple requests for deferral by consultant.
okay. All right, so July 20, the meeting on, you want to defer until our meeting on July 21st,
Yes, sir.
correct? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we need a motion to accept the applicant's request for a deferral of his application until the July 21st meeting.
I make a motion that we accept the applicant's deferral request until July 21st meeting.
I'll second.
Roll call, Tyler?
Mrs. Craig, Mrs. DeFuria,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Blau.
Yes.
Okay, and I just want to, Mr. Perez, July 21st. So if you want to, come back and Mr., what was your name again? Hatchley, July 21st. So put it on your calendar. Okay, all right, thank you.
I thought I
Okay, moving on to item, go. All right, come forward, come forward.
Earlier for this one, I thought I saw a proposal for zoning on Council Crossing, which looks like it would affect us also at 234th at Council. Is that not right? I was doing the best I could at seeing the monitor.
It was not a rezoning request. It
Okay,
was a plating request. Those lots in that subdivision are going to be 2 acres or larger in size.
okay,
So when they're larger and they meet the zoning requirement, then they just start the plating process. So
Okay.
what you saw there was the beginning of that process.
okay. Is that on which corner of Council at 234th? We're interested in knowing that.
Would it be possible for you to have a private conversation? We've already moved on beyond this.
Okay, yes, I understand. I just saw that. That's the first Mr. Ward and I had seen
Okay,
of that.
all
So,
right, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to item number 8 now. It's a discussion and possible action to approve or deny a special use permit, SUP 2022-03. Staff report, Tyler.
Yes, this is an annual event. We only have one of these items in the whole county. It's a special use permit for them to use sell fireworks year-round. And this is their request. This is by a law that was put in place allowing this to occur. And Mr. Herzog is the only one that's applying, and he applies every year. And he's met all of our requirements, so this is a more of a routine request.
And there's been no complaints.
No complaints this time.
Then I make a motion that we approve item number 8.
Okay,
Okay, oh, sorry.
yeah, let's just,
Sorry.
okay, is Mr. Herzog here to speak in favor?
He normally sends a rep, but
Okay,
there he is.
okay, well, come forward, state your name and address.
Does he have to speak?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Kent Herzog. I'm with Fireworks Center 25. My address is 2820 Northeast 50th Street in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma State statute states that wholesalers, distributors, and manufacturers can sell fireworks year-round. We proposed years ago the county resolution to be able to do the same thing where this resolution runs parallel with the state law. Basically, what we do at that facility, yes, we sell fireworks, but we ship wedding sparklers and gender reveal products daily all over the country from that particular location. So to remain in compliance, we apply for and ask permission to do that every year. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Herzog.
Thank you.
Is there anyone present who wants to speak against the proposal? Come forward, please. Okay, hearing none, I'll take a motion on item number 8.
I make a motion to approve item number 8.
Roll call, Tyler?
Mrs. Craig, Mr. DeFuria,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
Mr. Blau.
Yes.
So items
Okay.
approved.
Item number 9 is a discussion and possible action to receive the May 2022 fee fund report. It's in our package.
Yeah.
Comments, Tyler?
Only comment is that I wish the planning commission continues with its good luck this year, but unfortunately, the economy is diving. So hopefully it'll stay that way, but I very doubt it. Inflation is out of sight.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we did
Okay.
good. That's
Okay.
mine.
All right, thank you, Tyler.
Okay.
I have to make a motion.
Yes, we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve or to accept the planning commission fee fund report.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, Tyler?
Mrs. Craig, Mr. DeFuria,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
and Mr. Blau.
Yes.
All right, item number 10 is new business, and in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, Section 311.9, new business is defined as any matter not known about or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of posting the agenda. Do we have any new business?
I have none.
Okay, hearing none.
What? That's not big.
Before we adjourn, Tyler, just wanted to wish you happy retirement and thank you for all that you've done to support the planning commission over the years, and you're going to be missed.
Thank you.
Thunder up.
Oh, so this is your last
Yes,
meeting,
this
Tyler.
is my last meeting.
Wow. Yeah, well, I totally agree with what Joe just said. I mean, you know, we go back a long way, Tyler.
Yeah.
When I built my house in '94, when I applied for a permit, you know, so I really
Yeah.
appreciate the work you've done.
Yeah,
all
I was
these
just
years.
17 years old then. Yeah, I've enjoyed my tour. Actually, I didn't plan to be here this long. You know, I did 30 years in the military, and I did 31 years with the county. So this has outdone my military career. So
And thank you for your service. Thank you
Yeah,
for your military
thank you.
service.
It's been an honor and a privilege, sir.
yeah, my time has come, I guess. I've enjoyed every minute of it. So.
So what are your plans for retirement?
Domestic engineer.
And basketball, I
That's
hope,
right.
right?
Take care of my plants, and I don't have any animals, but you know, it's housekeeping.
Yeah.
That's it. I've done everything else. I've been around the world. I've done pretty much anything everybody ever wanted to do. I only got one bucket item, and that is the go fishing, and not just regular fishing. I'd like to be on a crab boat just one time. Go out for the king crab, you know, just one time.
Oh, in Alaska? Is that where you're
Alaska,
in
yes.
Alaska.
Yeah, that would be my dream trip.
Yeah.
But that's it. So,
Okay.
thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. All right. So we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Mrs. Craig, Mr. Furia,
Yes.
Mr. Talbot,
Yes.
and Mr. Blau.
You know it's coming. No.
Yes, but majority rules. Thank you.
Stay cool. You're up and up. It's next Tuesday. Tuesday, that's right. Okay, so you got about